A common question I used to hear nowadays is, you did Everest Base Camp, you tried Kilimanjaro and a lot of Himalayan treks. Which one is going to your next expedition or peak? Should I try Island Peak? No, I'll do Mera Peak. Or should I try Lobuchae? Oh yeah, I'm a bit confused.
Hi Shabir, thanks for giving me the opportunity to, asking some of the questions which you sent me forward for your project regarding climbing in, Nepal. So you asked me like a few questions which I would love to answer, and thanks again. So the first one which you asked is Island Peak, Mera Peak, Lobuchae. These are like 6,000 meter peaks in a row which I've done, and you've asked how do you compare these peaks in terms of challenges. I mean, all three have different challenges, to be honest. Like all three, they have different types of excitement. They have different types of challenges. Island Peak was my first one, which I think was pretty straightforward, and it was done pretty quickly, so that's why I like it a lot, Island Peak. But the last section, which is a wall, and when you're trying to pull up, pull yourself up around 6,000 meters, it can be very, very difficult. It was very challenging out there, but that was a physical challenge, that was physically challenging. But then when you come to Mera Peak, which is 6,476 meters, it's mentally challenging. Physically, anybody can do that. Do Mera Peak. It's literally just walking. It's just trekking up, but it just does not stop. It just keeps going on and on and on. So the mental challenge out there, you see, it's like, this thing is not going to finish. I'm stuck here. So you just see horizons after horizon, thinking that, oh, that's the peak, but it just doesn't finish. So that's like mentally challenged. So if you're mentally strong, Mera Peak is the one for you. Lobuchae is probably a mix of both. Lobuchae is steep. Again, it's physically challenging, mentally not that much challenging. Physically challenging because it's very steep. And if you're not prepared either mentally or physically, it will test you a lot. So I found Mera Peak to be very challenging just because it was mentally challenging. Physically I was there, but mentally it was gonna challenge a little bit more. The second one which you ask, did I take any mountaineering course and have I prepared for these expeditions? No, I haven't taken any mountaineering course. I haven't done any sort of HMI or one in Arunachal and all that. There's a lot of courses out there which I haven't done personally. I try to just learn as I go. I try to learn from the experience itself. You've met Nima Sherpa, who's my guide, and he teaches me every time. I learn from there. But taking nothing away from all these courses and everything, I think they are great. People should do them. But personally, I haven't done it. I haven't found the need of it yet. In the future as well, I'm planning to do Ama Double 7,000ers and everything. But joining a course is not in my curriculum as of yet. I wouldn't mind doing it. I think it'd be a great thing, but personally, it hasn't done anything to me. I can still climb. I'm still climbing, and I will still climb without doing the course as well. So I haven't actually done any courses like that.
So climbing mountains all lies here, from heart. It's from here, there goes to the peak. It's all about attitude, not about altitude.
The basic quality is discipline. I think you asked what's the basic quality required for being a mountaineer, and what's my advice to young aspiring mountaineers. Discipline. I think just like everything in life, it's discipline. I'm from a defense background, and my father and my uncle, they were both in defense army, and so we've been always taught with how to be disciplined. and mountaineering is a level up. It's a notch up when it comes to discipline. So it's discipline, and don't give up. It's just you there will be times when you will be like knocked out. There will be times when you won't have air to breathe, or I don't know, maybe no food and stuff. But you just have to define that madness which is inside you. You have to be passionate about it. Unless, because every time I climb, I just think that why am I doing this? Every time, all 3 times I've summited, and the other 5,000 as I've done, so many trekking on. Every time I think, why am I doing this? What's the whole purpose of it? But I go back every now and then because I know at the back of my mind I want that. So you have to be a little mad as well. You have to have that passion, and you just have to mix your madness and your passion with the discipline, and how you treat your body, how you prepare your body, and what you do when you're not trekking, when you're not climbing. Those are the things which you need to take care of if you want to get into mountaineering and everything. Rest, everything falls in place. Skills you can learn, but the attitude you cannot learn. So you have to get that madness and passion and discipline within you, and then you can learn the rest. The last one which you asked is most challenging moment of the expeditions and how you overcome the challenge. I'm trying to think which could be the biggest challenge. Challenge, it's both. Again, it's mental and physical. There's as I said, every time I'm climbing, I've given up. I've thought I don't know why am I doing this. What's the whole purpose of it? Why should I be doing this? There is always that whole thing which gets into your head, and lack of oxygen will make you think like that a lot. So I think that's the hurdle. You are the only hurdle when you're doing these things. When you're doing extreme sports or anything, you are the only hurdle for yourself. If you're not prepared, that's your hurdle. If you're not passionate, that's your hurdle. If you're not mentally in the zone, that's your hurdle. If you're weak inside, that's your hurdle. So all these hurdles, when you wake up at 1 o'clock in the night, it's minus 25 outside, and you're supposed to pack up and go up the mountain. Getting up, I've seen so many people they get up and they just say, oh, I wasn't prepared, I didn't have enough sleep. Nobody sleeps at a base camp, trust me. I've never slept at a base camp. You just don't sleep. The excitement is so high, it's cold, you haven't eaten properly, you haven't slept properly, so nobody sleeps. So basically you're 14-15 hours, you're just climbing without all of that. But if that hurdle you can cross, of the physical pain, the mental pain, then that's the biggest hurdle. Last one, not the least one, you asked me for my volunteering projects in Nepal. So there's a few. The major one which I started was education. So as you know, I live in the Sherpa community in Nepal. So I'm trying to create an education system there. So my aim is I'm currently I currently teach in the local school, trying to raise the level of the education out there. And then it's just basically education, because I feel out there in that community, education is the best best sword, or best the thing which you can give to that community is education. So if you give education, people can prosper, they can get better jobs, and they can come out of whatever situation they are in. So that, and my other project is to teach the porters just English. So if I teach porters English, they can become guides. So it just gives them a better level of livelihood. And one of the second ones which I've again taken up is the cleaning of the trail. So every now and then I clean the trail. So my education is mixed with cleaning the trail as well. So I'm teaching kids as well, but I'm teaching those kids how to clean their locality as well. I myself, whenever I trek, I try and clean just to spread a message that you got to clean. I've been in touch with Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee as well. I've given them ideas of how to remove the plastic consumption from there. They are implementing that as well. I mean, we had a good news that all the plastic bottles will be taken out from the Solukhumbu region, which I hope it happens, and when it happens, it'll be good. So yeah, these are the few things which I'm taking care of, and I'm sure there's a lot more out there which I'll be looking into. We're trying to do a dental camp, which was supposed to happen this year, but it's not going to happen now. Probably next year we're going to look into it. So I'm going to conduct a dental camp for the whole region as well. So yeah, there's a few things in the pipeline, and the few things which we'll be doing soon as well. Anyways, thanks a lot again, Shabir. Thanks for thinking of me for asking these questions. Thanks.